My fiancée walked away when I was broke, doubted my discipline, and underestimated my drive. I moved in silence, multiplied income fast, seized control, rewrote my image publicly, and turned her exit into visible revenge and humiliation. You think anyone's going to take you seriously when you can't even afford to take me out anymore? Those words hit different when they come from someone wearing the ring you saved 6 months to buy. I stood there in our cramped apartment, holding a rejection email from my third job application that week, and watched Rachel pack her designer bags, the ones I'd bought her when things were better. "I'm done waiting for you to figure your life out," she said, not even looking at me. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I was 28. She was 26. We'd been together 4 years, engaged for 8 months. "Rachel, I lost my job 5 weeks ago. The whole department got cut. You know this wasn't what? Your fault." She laughed, cold and sharp. "You've been saying that about everything lately. Not your fault you didn't see it coming. Not your fault you don't have a backup plan. Not your fault you're sitting around applying to jobs instead of making something happen." I felt my jaw tighten. "I have interviews lined up. The market's fine for people with ambition." She zipped her bag with finality. "My cousin started his consulting business last year, and he's already pulling 6 figures. My friend's boyfriend just got promoted to senior management. Meanwhile, you're collecting unemployment and telling me to be patient. I gave you everything when I had it." "Yeah, well, having it and keeping it are 2 different things." She pulled the ring off her finger and set it on the kitchen counter. "I need someone who's built different. Someone who doesn't crumble when things get hard." "I'm not crumbling. I'm strategizing. You're making excuses." She picked up her bags. "I told my parents we're done. They weren't surprised. My dad said he saw this coming when you got laid off. Said you didn't have that killer instinct." That one stung more than I wanted to admit. Her father was a real estate investor who'd made his money flipping properties in the early 2000s. He'd never respected my corporate job, even when I was making decent money. "So that's it. For years, and you're just gone." Rachel stopped at the door. "You're a good guy. You really are. But good guys finish last, and I'm not finishing last with you." She looked at me one more time. "Maybe this will motivate you to actually do something with your life." The door closed. I stood there for maybe 20 minutes, just staring at that ring on the counter. Then something shifted. Not sadness. Not anger exactly. Something colder. More focused. I picked up my laptop and opened a spreadsheet I'd been ignoring for 2 weeks. A business model I'd sketched out years ago, but never had the guts to pursue. Freelance consulting in supply chain optimization. I had 8 years of experience in logistics management, and I'd watched my company pay external consultants $40,000 for projects I could have done in my sleep. If Rachel wanted to see killer instinct, I'd show her what that actually looked like. I spent the next 3 days building a website, crafting service packages, and reaching out to every professional contact I had. No sleep. Barely ate. Just worked. By day 4, I had my first client call, a mid-sized manufacturing company that needed help streamlining their distribution network. I quoted them $12,000 for a 6-week project. They countered at 10. I took it. That first project was brutal. I worked 16-hour days, analyzed every inefficiency in their system, and delivered a presentation that cut their shipping costs by 32% in the first quarter. They were thrilled. They referred me to 2 other companies. Within 8 weeks of Rachel walking out, I'd cleared $45,000 in revenue. Within 12 weeks, I'd hired a part-time assistant to handle administrative work while I focused on client acquisition. I didn't post about it on social media. Didn't tell anyone except my brother, who I'd always kept in my corner. I just moved. Silent. Focused. Hungry in a way I'd never been when I had the safety net of a salary and a relationship. 3 months after Rachel left, I signed a retainer deal with a Fortune 500 company that needed ongoing supply chain analysis. $80,000 a year, guaranteed, just from that one client. Plus the project work I was still taking on the side. I was pulling in more money in 4 months than I'd made in my entire previous year of employment. And I was just getting started. I moved out of our old apartment. Too many memories, too much dead weight. Found a downtown loft in the building I used to walk past and dream about. Upgraded everything. Not because I needed to. Because I wanted to erase every trace of the version of myself that Rachel had walked away from. New wardrobe. Professional photography for my website. Started going to a gym that cost more per month than I used to spend on groceries. I documented nothing. No LinkedIn updates. No Instagram flexing. Just results. Month 6 hit different. I was sitting in a coffee shop downtown, finalizing a proposal that would net me $60,000 if the client signed, when I saw her. Rachel. She was with two of her girlfriends, laughing about something, looking exactly like she always did. Polished, perfect, unbothered. She didn't see me. I watched her order some complicated latte, watched her friends lean in to gossip about something, watched her check her phone with that same impatient expression she used to have when I'd take too long to text back. I could have left. Should have, probably. But I didn't. I waited until she was walking toward the door. Then I stood up and stepped directly into her path. Rachel. She looked up, startled, and I watched her face cycle through confusion, recognition, then something else. Maybe surprise. Maybe assessment. Oh my God. Hi. She recovered quickly, smiled that polite smile she used with acquaintances. How are you? Good. Really good, actually. Her eyes flicked over me. New jacket, new watch, new energy. You look different. Yeah, well, a lot's changed. One of her friends whispered something and drifted away with the other girl, leaving us standing there. I heard you started your own thing, Rachel said carefully. So she'd been asking about me. Interesting. Who told you that? Your brother ran into my cousin. He mentioned you were doing consulting work. Yeah, it's been going well. That's great. I'm really happy for you. She shifted her weight, and I noticed she wasn't wearing an engagement ring. Are you still in the same apartment? No. Moved downtown a few months back. Oh, nice. Another pause. Are you seeing anyone? There it was. Not seriously. Been too focused on building the business. She nodded, doing that thing where she tried to look casual, but I could tell she was processing. Well, you seem like you're doing really well. I'm glad things worked out. Thanks to you, honestly. Her smile faltered. What do you mean? You walking out was the best thing that could have happened to me. I kept my tone light, conversational. I was comfortable before. Complacent. You leaving forced me to actually go all in on something I believed in. So, genuinely, thank you. I watched the words land. Watched her expression shift from polite interest to something more complicated. I'm glad you see it that way. I do. You were right about me not having killer instinct back then, but you were wrong about whether I could develop it. She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried a different approach. Look, I know things ended badly between us. They ended exactly how they needed to, right? But I've been thinking lately, and I realize I might have been too harsh. You were going through a tough time, and I wasn't as supportive as I could have been. Now she wanted to rewrite history. Classic. It's fine, Rachel. No hard feelings. Really. You made a choice based on what you needed at the time. I respect that. I checked my watch. The same move she used to pull when she wanted to end conversations. I should get going. Client call in 20. Wait. She touched my arm. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime? Catch up properly. I looked at her hand on my sleeve, then at her face. She was trying. Actually trying. And 6 months ago, this would have meant everything to me. 6 months ago, I would have said yes immediately, would have taken it as validation, would have let her back and just to prove I wasn't the failure she'd implied I was. But that version of me was gone. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? We were together for 4 years. We don't have to be strangers. We're not strangers. We're exes. There's a difference. I stepped back, casual but definitive. You've got your life. I've got mine. Let's keep it that way. I walked out before she could respond. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. That night, my brother called. Dude, Rachel's cousin just texted me asking about your business. Yeah, I ran into her today. And nothing. She wanted to catch up. I passed. He laughed. Bet that felt good. Honestly, it felt like closing a chapter one should have closed 6 months ago. She's probably kicking herself now. You're making bank. You look good. You've got your shit together. That's not why I did this. I know, but it's a nice bonus that she sees it. He wasn't wrong, but he also wasn't entirely right. I didn't build all this to prove something to Rachel. I built it to prove something to myself. That I wasn't the guy who folded when things got hard. That I had something in me worth betting on. That I could move in silence and let success make the noise. 2 weeks after that coffee shop encounter, I got invited to speak on a panel about supply chain innovation at an industry conference. It wasn't huge, maybe 200 people in attendance, but it was credible. Real professionals. Real visibility. I prepared for that panel like it was the Super Bowl. Researched every other panelist, anticipated questions, practiced my delivery until it sounded natural. The day of the event, I showed up early, networked during the pre-panel mixer, and made sure I was sharp when the moderator called us to the stage. Halfway through the panel, during the Q&A section, Someone asked about pivoting careers during economic uncertainty. I didn't plan what I said next. It just came out. I got laid off last year. It was terrifying. I was engaged. I had financial commitments. And suddenly I had nothing. I paused. My fiancée left me 5 weeks after I lost my job. Told me I didn't have what it took to bounce back. The room went quiet. That moment could have destroyed me. Instead, it clarified everything. I realized I'd been playing it safe my entire career, waiting for someone to give me permission to bet on myself. When she walked away, I stopped waiting. I looked directly at the audience. Best business decision I ever made was getting dumped. People laughed. The energy shifted. After the panel, I had a line of people waiting to talk to me. Potential clients, other consultants wanting to collaborate, even a reporter from an industry publication asking if I'd be interested in being featured in an article about entrepreneurship after layoffs. I said yes to all of it. 3 months later, that article came out. They used the quote about getting dumped. Made it the pull quote, actually, right next to my photo. The article got shared in industry groups, on LinkedIn, in professional circles I didn't even know existed. My website traffic tripled overnight. I got 17 new client inquiries in 1 week. And according to my brother, Rachel saw it. Her cousin sent it to her. She apparently read it twice, then called her cousin asking if I was seriously doing that well. My brother found this hilarious. She's spiraling, man. Her cousin said she's been talking about you nonstop since that article dropped. Good for her. You don't want to rub it in a little? No need. The work speaks for itself. And it did. By month 10, I'd scaled to the point where I needed to hire 2 full-time consultants to help manage the project load. By month 12, I cleared $300,000 in revenue. Not profit. I had overhead now, payroll, business expenses. But revenue. Real, quantifiable proof that I'd built something sustainable. I celebrated my 1-year business anniversary alone in my loft, looking out over the city, thinking about how different everything was from the night Rachel walked out. How different I was. I didn't miss her. Didn't even think about her most days. But I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that wanted her to see exactly what she'd walked away from. Not to get her back, just to make sure she understood the cost of her choice. Turns out, I didn't have to do anything. She reached out on her own. It was a Tuesday night, around 9, when my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Hey, it's Rachel. I know it's been a while. Can we talk? I stared at that message for a solid 5 minutes. Didn't respond. Just stared. She followed up 20 minutes later. I saw your article. I'm really proud of everything you've accomplished. I'd love to catch up if you're open to it. Proud. Like she had any right to claim pride in something she'd bet against. I put my phone down and went back to work. She texted again the next day. I know I don't deserve a response, but I'd really like to explain some things. Please. I finally replied. There's nothing to explain. You made the right choice for yourself at the time. I'm good. Hope you are too. Can we just meet for coffee? 1 hour. That's all I'm asking. I should have said no. Would have been cleaner. But curiosity got the better of me. Fine. Saturday, 2 p.m. Same coffee shop as last time. She responded immediately. Thank you. I'll be there. Saturday came. I showed up 5 minutes late on purpose, wearing the same jacket I'd worn to the industry panel. Rachel was already there, sitting at a corner table, looking nervous in a way I'd never seen her look during our entire relationship. She stood up when she saw me. Hi. Thank you for coming. You've got an hour. We sat. She ordered tea. I ordered black coffee. The silence stretched until she finally broke it. You look incredible. Like, genuinely. I know I said that before, but seeing you now, after everything. Rachel, you didn't ask me here to compliment me. She exhaled. No, you're right. She wrapped her hands around her mug. I wanted to apologize. For how I handled things when you lost your job. For what I said. For leaving when you needed support. Okay. Yeah. Apology noted. She blinked. That's it. What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? Fine. I forgive you. Anything else? I guess I thought we could talk about what happened. Really talk about it. We did talk about it. A year ago, you said I didn't have killer instinct. You said good guys finish last. You said you needed someone built different. I sipped my coffee. You were clear. I got the message. I was wrong. Maybe. Doesn't matter now. It matters to me. Her voice cracked slightly. I've been watching you build this whole new life, and I keep thinking about how I could have been part of it. How I should have been part of it. There it was. The real reason she wanted to meet. You weren't interested in being part of the building phase, I said calmly. You were interested in the finished product. There's a difference. That's not fair, isn't it? You left when I was at my lowest. When I needed someone to believe in me, you walked away. Now I'm doing well, and suddenly you want back in. That's not love, Rachel. That's opportunism. She looked down at her tea. I was scared. My friends were all getting engaged to guys with stable careers, and there you were, unemployed, uncertain. And I'm supposed to feel bad for making you uncomfortable? No. God, no. I'm just trying to explain where I was mentally. I know where you were. You were looking at me like a bad investment. And honestly, that's fine. You're allowed to have standards. You're allowed to want financial stability. But don't sit here now and act like you made a mistake when what you really mean is you miscalculated the outcome. Her eyes went glassy. I did make a mistake. I walked away from someone who loved me because I was too focused on what other people thought. Past tense. Loved. You're right about that. She flinched. So that's it. There's no part of you that wonders what we could be now. With everything you've built, everything you've become. I leaned back in my chair. You want honesty? Please. There's a version of this story where you stayed. Where you supported me through the hard part, believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and we built this together. That version would have meant something. But that's not what happened. You bailed. And I built this alone, from scratch, with no one betting on me but me. That's mine. Not ours. Mine. I know I don't deserve a second chance. It's not about deserving. It's about wanting. And I don't want one. I finished my coffee. You taught me something important. You taught me that the only person I can really count on is myself. That's a valuable lesson. I'm grateful for it. But I'm not interested in unlearning it just because you changed your mind. She was crying now, trying to hide it but failing. I really did love you. I believe you. In your way, you did. But your love had conditions. Mine didn't. That's why this doesn't work anymore. I stood up. I hope you find what you're looking for, Rachel. I really do. But it's not going to be with me. I left her there. Walked out into the afternoon sun and felt lighter than I had in months. No anger. No bitterness. Just clarity. My brother called that night asking how it went. She wanted to get back together. Obviously. And I told her no. How'd she take it? About as well as expected. Cried a little. Tried the whole I made a mistake angle. Damn. Cold. Not cold. Honest. I looked out my window at the city lights. She wanted the results without putting in the work. That's not how this works. You really don't feel anything for her anymore? I thought about that. I feel grateful. She forced me to become someone I wouldn't have become if she'd stayed. But no, I don't love her. Don't even miss her. Just feel complete without her. That's growth, man. He wasn't wrong. 6 months later, I expanded the business into 2 new markets. Hired for more consultants. Opened a small office space because working from home was getting cramped with all the team meetings. Cleared 7 figures in annual revenue. Got invited to speak at 3 more industry events. Published an article in a major business journal about building a consulting practice from scratch. Life was objectively good. And through all of it, Rachel became more and more irrelevant. Just a footnote in a story that was so much bigger than her exit. The last time I heard about her was from my brother, who ran into her cousin at a wedding. Apparently, she'd started dating some investment banker. Seemed happy. I hoped she was. Not because I cared about her specifically, but because I'd moved so far past that chapter that her happiness or unhappiness genuinely didn't affect me either way. I was too busy building, too focused on what came next, too invested in the life I'd created from nothing but spite, determination, and the refusal to let someone else's doubt define my ceiling. People ask me sometimes if I ever regret how things ended, if I wish I'd given her another chance, if I think about what could have been. The answer's always the same. No, because the person I am now, the focused, driven, successful version, only exists because she left. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. Not for her. Not for anyone. I built this. Alone. In silence. While everyone doubted. And when I finally made noise, it was deafening. That's the only revenge that matters. Not getting her back, but becoming so undeniably successful that her absence becomes the biggest miscalculation of her life. And every time someone shares that article, every time I close another 6-figure deal, every time I stand in front of an audience and tell my story, I know she sees it, knows what she walked away from, knows what she could have had, and realizes she bet on the wrong horse. That knowledge is worth more than any apology, more than any second chance, more than any closure conversation, because it's not just revenge. It's proof. Proof that I was always worth betting on. She just wasn't smart enough to see it.